Today we are going to be going through my glass cupboard, also affectionately known as my wine cupboard, and that's because I've got the majority of glasses in there for drinking wine. My favorite setting number is an 8-piece setting, and that's because, well, I've got an 8-plate dinner set, and 8 is a good number of items to keep of any one type in your cupboard should you get 8 guests. Well, if you get more, then I think we're going to have to make a plan for that one, but for now 8 is the magical number. My wine cupboard has got 5 shelves in it, and this I found still not sufficient, so what I'm going to do is give you some ideas at the end of the video on what you could do to increase your space for more items. The first shelf, the top shelf, I have some shooter glasses in the middle, and these are crystal, which really attract the light, especially if you're entertaining at night. I thought these were particularly festive. On the other corner, I have flat champagne glasses. These are from my favorite glass maker, Luigi Bormioli. In fact, most of the items that I've got in my cupboard are Italian. I love the sleek design, but you could obviously use whatever you feel is fitting for your personality. Next up are my flat half glasses. These work quite well at the dinner table if you are serving alcohol and your guests would just like some water on the side. They are really cute and dainty, and I think they really add some personality to the dinner table. On the second shelf, I have a tea set, which is quite uncommon to be found in a wine glass cupboard, but A, it's glass, and B, I think it looks really nice, so that is why it takes a spot on the second shelf of the cupboard. Together with that, I've got some highball glasses that you could use for whiskey, or an alternative is you could put some water in them as well. Lower down, I've got my wine flute glasses. So these are for champagne. And on the left-hand side, I have the white wine glasses that have the same sleek design. They are also Luigi Bormioli. And you can see that they go very well with their bigger red wine glasses. And if you're wondering, I've got 7 glasses and not 8, and the reason is that over the years I've had a few mishaps where a few of these glasses have unfortunately fell to the floor and broke. Okay, getting lower down, and we've got my really stunning Spanish gin and tonic glasses. These were such a good buy, and whenever I entertain my guests, always use these, even if it's for wine, and that's just because they are really elegant to drink out of, and the light from the cut glass at the bottom really does catch the glass very well. These are interesting, and they have a few purposes. I saw them and I knew I had to have them. They could be used for dessert if you are layering dessert, so some cookie crumbs at the bottom, laid with some mascarpone cheese and sliced strawberries, for example, topped off with some peppermint crisp, go a really long way in making a dessert look even better in this glass. You could also have a shrimp cocktail served in here, and you could perhaps have a light soup with long tablespoons for your guests to get the soup out from the glass if that's something that you fancy for a cold winter's night as a starter before the main meal. Okay, the last shelf, I have a few ideas there. For now, they are storing all my really cool wine and spirit decanters. What you could do as well is perhaps use half the section for decanters and use the other half for some really fancy bottles of wine or for some shooters that you'd like to have, so that it's within easy reach for your guests at the dinner table. So my wine cupboard is testimony to one of my favorite sayings: if you want to do it with class, do it in glass. Little is known about the first attempts to make glass. However, it is believed that glass making was discovered 4,000 years ago or more in Mesopotamia. Scholars believed that the ability to make glass developed over a long period of time, from experiments with a mixture of silica sand or ground quartz pebble and an alkali. Other high-heat industries, including ceramics and metalworking, could have inspired early glass makers. As early as 3,300 years ago, ritual instructions for glass making in Mesopotamia were written on clay tablets. These instructions were copied and recopied over the centuries. Hello again. Welcome to my wooden table filled with glass things that you could consider also putting into your glass cabinet, or as I affectionately call it, my wine cabinet. I have a lovely glass bell that sounds really nice and adds a sense of occasion when you're entertaining, so that you can use this to let your dinner guests know that dinner is being served. I have got a variety of little glasses that can be used for any number of things, either shooters or some schnapps or sherry or port after a meal, and these you could store in your glass cupboard as well. So I've got a few on this side, and they range in shape and size all the way to from the smaller to the bigger ones. I thought that these glass holders are quite versatile. You could use them to pour wine in, or juice, or even water infused with lemon and mint for your guests. An alternative could be some cucumber and strawberries mixed in there to create a particularly refreshing taste after a long hot day. Okay. Next up are some candle holders, which you could keep in your cupboard, but I think they look way too good to be kept in a cupboard. But it's an option for you if you want to keep all your glass things together. This is something that I bought at an antique store, which I've kept with me for a number of years. What it is it is a shooter glass holder, but I have yet to find the shooter glasses that fit in here perfectly. So please put some comments in the video below if you are aware of any places that I could shop for something like this to complete this, because I think this will be such a great addition to any table when I'm entertaining. These are some little tot glasses which I keep. This is mainly used for espresso, but I bought just a single one. If your guests are feeling a little adventurous and you want to celebrate an occasion, then by all means measure up a tot or a measuring cap full of this for your gin or any other spirits that you wanting to drink. These are two cute sherry glasses that I saw in my travels as well, which I thought are a great addition to my cupboard. Here again, I've got some candlesticks, which I can either keep in the cupboard, or depending on my mood, or if I'd like to mix things up a little bit, they would look great out on a table setting just on its own, or on a server table around the home. This little hip flask I received as a present from a very dear friend, and it has got an interesting saying on it. It's not something that I personally believe, but I thought hilarious anyway. You don't need alcohol to make people interesting. I think people are interesting by themselves, but whenever I read it, I do feel a little amused. So I thought this was a nice thing, and seeing as it's a hip flask, it's in keeping with the theme of having things in my wine cupboard that relate to alcohol. So yeah, I'd like to have that in my cupboard. Now, this glass is an interesting one. I have just one of it, and a friend and I went through a number of antique stores while on holiday looking for just the one glass. And my logic behind just having one, and you can see it's beautifully patterned and it is really nice crystal. My guests will have similar red wine, white wine glasses or champagne flutes, but I thought that having something like this just for me makes you stand out as the host just a little bit more. Thank you for taking this tour with me through my home where I showcased the objects that I have in glass that I use to entertain. My favorite saying still continues to be, if you want to do it with class, do it in glass.